Hello and welcome to my review of the Stallion Holliday. This is an epic variant of the Stallion 44 which was added into Infinite Warfare. I think it was the end of last year or the start of this year. It's been a while, so there haven't been many updates for Infinite Warfare lately, so I think it was a good few months ago, but I just never really got around to reviewing it. I'm going to go over the perks first, then the aesthetics of the gun, how it performs in zombies and how it performs in multiplayer, and then my opinions kind of wrapped in the whole multiplayer side of things. So I'm going to go over the perks first. I think this is the only gun in Infinite Warfare which may actually have two epic perks. The first one being the one which is actually listed with the gun, which is a lightweight hammer, and this says that lightweight materials allow for a faster fire rate when ADSing. This basically means that you're going to fire faster when ADSing compared to other Stallion variants. And initially when I saw this perk I thought this meant I'm going to fire faster when ADSing compared to hip firing, so I'm going to fire faster aiming down sights than I would when hip firing, but that's not actually what it means. The original Stallion, any other Stallion variant aside from the Holliday, shoots really slow when you're aiming down sights, but with the Stallion Holliday it actually shoots almost at the same speed of the hipfire, so it actually just speeds up how quickly you fire the gun compared to other Stallion variants. It doesn't make it fire faster than hipfiring. You should be able to get that, or you should be able to see that in the video, just in case I don't explain it very well. The other epic perk is the Deadeye perk, and this is the one which comes with the Stallion Peacekeeper. It's the other epic variant. I believe this is because it has the same scope. And the Deadeye perk basically gives the gun improved range and improved headshot damage, and it also gives the gun a built-in scope. So it essentially has the Stallion Holliday is basically the Stallion Peacekeeper, but it shoots faster in ADSing and has a smaller hipfire spread. So it's actually a really good gun, and it's probably the best Stallion variant out there. I think this Stallion's meant to be used when hip firing, or at least all the other variants are, because it shoots so slowly when ADSing. But this gun can be used when ADSing pretty well, and the standard scope on it is actually really good as well. You'll probably see from the gameplay that I don't really have any trouble getting kills with it, and that's me literally just randomly hip firing or ADSing, and it does shoot a lot quicker when ADSing, and I thought that was meant to be the speed that it normally shoots at, so that's why I was confused, but it actually shoots really well, and steady does reduce hipfire spread and does stack with laser sight. So if you do want to use this gun whilst hip firing, you can slap on a Kimbo with laser sight and you probably do pretty well. Or if you want to use it kind of like a standard revolver, you can just use it non-akimbo and hip fire people and ADS people. So yeah, and you can put on ELO and stuff if you really want to as well, which wouldn't be a bad idea, but I do quite like the normal sight on it. Aesthetically, the gun does look identical to the Stallion Peacekeeper, and that's because Infinity Ward are just recycling epic variant models for their new epic variants. I think they're finished updating Infinite Warfare, so there shouldn't really be any more variants, but as for all the variants that were released after World War II, it seems as though all of them just use reused weapon models, which is fine as long as they actually change the perks for them. And for the Stallion Holliday, they've basically taken the Stallion Peacekeeper and added more perks on top of it, so the gun is essentially a Stallion Peacekeeper but better, because it is 2 extra perks. In case you don't know what the Peacekeeper looks like, it essentially just has a built-in scope, and it also has an attachment under the barrel, and it is literally the normal Stallion, only it has a wee attachment under the barrel and a scope built in. I didn't use this version of the Stallion in zombies because it doesn't have any perks that would actually change how it performs in zombies. The only really big difference would be that it does more headshot damage in zombies, so it might actually kill them quicker, but I think that's pretty much about it. It shoots faster and it also does more headshot damage, so obviously the Stallion isn't that strong of a gun in zombies because it is a pistol, but at the same time, if you get it from the box you can use it for a good amount and it is actually pretty decent, so obviously you're better off with one of the better guns like the Mauler or the Type 2 or something, but to be honest, it isn't a bad choice and you can probably get through a good few rounds with it. For multiplayer, which is the bulk of how I use this gun, it is actually really good. I was playing against semi-decent players whenever I was playing in the gameplay, and I was actually doing pretty well. The gun obviously does rely on RNG to a certain extent when hip firing, and that was when I was using it the majority of the time. I usually use the Stallion when hip firing with akimbo, so it does kind of rely on randomness to a certain extent. But at the same time, it is actually a really fun gun to use, and it doesn't really have any drawbacks aside from maybe the hip fire spread, but you do get a tightened hipfire spread with this gun, so I'd say it's pretty good. But if you want to use this gun akimbo, slap on laser sight with akimbo, and if you want to use the gun non-akimbo, then you can use a sight if you want. You can use built-in sight, or you can put on ELO or something. Or if you really want to, you can put on laser sight so as you have a backup, so if you get into a tight situation. You can ADS if you want to, but you can also hipfire as a last resort. And I paired it with a sniper in the first gameplay. You'll see the Trek 50 paired with it, and I was using the Stallion pretty much as the primary and this Trek 50 is the secondary, and it worked really well. So the first gameplay is essentially me just sniping with the Stallion as my primary gun, and the Trek 50 is the secondary gun, and the second batch of gameplays me as the Kimbo. So it is actually a really fun gun to use. It isn't very competitive, you know, it isn't exactly one of the more competitive guns in the game. It isn't going to be a auger or something, but if you get up really close, it can actually perform better than a shotgun in my experience, and it's actually a lot funner to use. And you might run out of ammo, but if you put on scavenger, you can do pretty well. So overall, I think it's a pretty good, fun weapon, and obviously there's increased headshot damage. So if you are trying to do challenges for pistols, I think pistol challenges do require you to do headshots. So if you're trying to do the Stallion challenges, you can use this gun because it does have the increased headshot damage, and it does shoot faster in ADSing compared to other Stallion variants. There will be a test on screen, which I guess I'll put on screen now. This is when I'll talk about this. So I went into a power match in Genesis and I was testing like the fire rate, and initially I thought this isn't shooting any faster than when hip firing, but it actually turns out that the normal Stallion, as I said before, shoots really slow when ADSing, and the Stallion Holliday actually shoots nearly at the same speed as this Stallion does when hip firing. So this gun does shoot actually a lot quicker when ADSing compared to other Stallion variants, and you'll see on screen the comparison now, and it does shoot substantially faster and it's actually really good. So it is definitely one of the best variants of the Stallion, I'd say. So if you're a fan of revolvers, or you just want a fun weapon to mess around with in Infinite Warfare, then get the Stallion Holliday because it is actually really fun. It is currently in the Quartermaster collection, so you can't buy it with salvage. There is a legendary version of the Stallion which has the reduced hipfire spread, so if you just want the reduced hipfire spread, there's a legendary version of the gun in the Quartermaster collection you can buy for salvage. So if you just want the reduced hipfire spread, buy that gun, but if you want the actual Stallion Holliday itself for all its good perks and all that, then you can probably buy one of the Quartermaster collection bribes whenever they come around and that sort of thing, because it shouldn't be too difficult to get it if you have enough salvage and keys. So I'd say that's about it. Honestly, I think the weapon is really fun. It's one of the funner weapons in the game because it's just wacky and it's just fun to zoom around like Frontier or Mayday or something with the gun. So it is somewhat competitive against augers if you get up close and you know, against K-bars and stuff, but obviously if you come against, you know, a synaptic propulsion rewind sweat with K-bar bunker buster or something, you might not stand a chance. Depends how good a player you are, obviously. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe subscribing, and I'll see you next one. Bye.